Once again, on behalf of the organizers, we're very thankful for the international guests that we have here. And so we are pleased today to welcome our neighbor from the south, Mr. Arvydas Dotas of the Lithuanian state enterprise, the Center of Registers. The Center of Registers administers 5 main state registers about real property, legal entities, addresses, population, and the mortgages. In fact, the Center of Registers acts as a center of excellence of the Lithuania's public sector in creating and developing register database systems. Arvydas will share with us his organization's vision about big data, open data, real-time data, 3D, and other technologies, and their integration into a united data platform. Please, Arvydas.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, it's a real honor to be part of this very interesting event and very well-organized event. So thank you, organizers, once again for inviting us and having us here. I found it very interesting, not only as a presenter, but as a participant as well. A lot of interesting themes about a lot of interesting technology approaches and explanations. So let me start my main presentation from a short introduction of our company, who we are and what we do. So we are State Enterprise Center of Registers in Lithuania. We are keeper of a base state registers in Lithuania. At the moment, we maintain and manage 5 main registers, but we have 11 of them, different registers, such registers as real property, population registers, register of addresses, legal entities register, and few more. Actually, we own and maintain a very big, actually even a huge technical infrastructure. And we have professional team of IT specialists, and we have a lot of important competences in our organization, and we act as IT Center of Excellence for public sector as well. And we share our competences with different municipality organizations, with different state enterprises. We consult them. If needed, we help to develop, to create some informational systems. We provide integrations, services, and other solutions for these organizations. So that's the way how we, maybe if it's good to say so, we impact GS and IT improvements in state and municipality market. At the moment, we have published and we provided more than 500 different electronic services, e-services. And as you can see here in the slide, the usage and importance of e-services is increasing exponentially. Of course, these numbers, 57,000, more than 57,000 of users are showing the amount of registered users, but not all services are provided only for registered users. Some of them are publicly available. So the reach of the users and the reach of these services is much bigger than these numbers. And if to name some most popular services of electronic services we own and provide, is the most popular services are related with real property. We have quite popular and useful services for surveyors provided. Of course, popular, and this popularity increases continuously. It is registers of population, demographical information, not a statistical information, but real demographic which we have in our register. One of the services we have, it's a public application, public website. It's called REGIA. It spells like not a spells, but it can be explained like a regional geoinformational environmental service. This service was developed as a tool for municipalities, mainly for municipalities, for their citizens, for their authorities, for their organizations and local businesses. And it aims to facilitate spatial information appearance and usage of it. As a simple-to-use web-based solution, it increased amount of spatial data we have in our country and the amount of how this data is used. So we aim to increase usage of spatial data in decision-making. We want to help these organizations to integrate spatial data in their work processes and to make these work processes to make more efficient. So actually, REGIA is a web-centric application. As I mentioned, it is available for everyone, so even you can try this service, this tool. You can reach it with regia.lt, and we have 4 languages, so you can try this service as well. So every user, every citizen can use publicly available parts of the system. He do not need to register or have additional actions to do. He or she can reach all data provided by municipalities, provided by us and other related organizations in Lithuania. Meanwhile, municipalities and other connected to the system organizations has a separate part of the system, and they own this part of the system. They are owners of it, and they can customize and adopt it to their needs. They are owners not only how the system looks, all these images, colors, herbs, and not the herbs. I can't remember how it's in the signs of the cities, of the municipalities. You know. But we can decide which data should be published publicly, which should be left as private information. So that's shortly what is REGIA and how it looks like. Actually, REGIA is used by all municipalities in Lithuania, by all 60 municipalities in Lithuania, and a lot of more other companies and organizations. Utility companies, even universities, and so on and so on. And what is most important and valuable, what these users of REGIA found in this application is what it is based in the cloud. It is simple to use. It is simple to use spatial tools which are free for them to use. It is even more, REGIA acts as a server in the cloud. So every user of the REGIA can publish their own data. And to help with publishing of the data, we created more than 130 dataset templates, which can be activated by clicking one button, and after a minute or two, you can start to collect data in these different themes of information. It goes together with ready-to-use applications. It is not only a website to publish information from all municipalities. We provide such tools like reporting about issues in the city. We provide additional Android application. And even more important, we have implemented, we are developers of signature solutions, and we implemented the solution as a part of the system. So if you are using, and you need to have secure user authentication, it is a part of the system. You can use it out of the box. And of course, it is open. It is open to integrate in other systems and other processes. Actually, if to see the interface from the first side, it can look very primitive. And that's the idea and benefit which is liked by the users. You know, we even hear such explanations or some comments from the woman who returned after maternity holidays, and she said, the system is so cool because it's so simple, because I do not need to have any additional trainings, I do not need to follow technological changes or something like this. I can just start to work right after sitting in front of the computer. So, however, if it looks primitive, it looks simple, it is still quite powerful, because it has a lot of different actually ready tools to use to analyze data, to see the data in the map. And REGIA is not only the website, not only a portal, it's actually a technological platform as a cornerstone for future implementations of new, even words trending technologies, sorry. So these technologies listed here in this slide is somehow already touched by our specialists. I mean, we have made already some tasks related with these technologies. And most active activities we have with open data initiatives and needs in our organization. We are very interested in 3D technologies and possibilities to use it Lithuania-wide. So we have even some seeding some seeds for projects maybe financed by European Union and so on. Of course, blockchain technology is trending all over the world together with bitcoins and other cryptocurrency things. So we see what it is possibly very useful for registers to create some processes more efficient, but still it is the very first steps in this sphere. And I decided to talk a little bit more about our experience and our issues we faced in a sphere of open data. I think you definitely agree that almost all organizations, especially state organizations, municipalities, are very much forced to open their data. And this force comes not only from European Union, not only from the highest level of politicians. Actually, it comes from society as well. But the problem is no one tells how this data can't be opened, what is open data, what do we expect from this open data, what we will do with this data. And actually, I think it is the main issue and the first issue we faced in our organization. It is misunderstanding. There was no common understanding what is open data. Do we need to open everything publicly to give away everything, or we need to have some kind of different strategy to do these things? Another thing is formats, and we usually have some visualized formats, some maps, static maps, dynamic maps, and so on, but we do not know what users expect, what kind of data do they expect. And if you try to guess all these formats in a very beginning, and you will not do anything, but will try just to collect all this information in the very beginning, what user needs, the process will be very long. So we decided to make small steps to provide what we have, and then to collect the feedback from the users and improve these formats as well. The same situation is the data need. Nobody knows what we have, and nobody knows what kind of information do they need. So we tried to find some communication elements with developers, with system integrators, and to collect these needs from the developers in a different events. And I think most important thing here is understanding of the business model of open data. Because, however, it is a business model. It is, you are selling data. It doesn't matter if you are not getting some money back. You are not getting some direct revenue from it, but it is business model. And it is different from these business models we are familiar now, till now. So we need to understand these models, and we need to learn how to work with it. And it is quite difficult issue to solve, and we are still in process of this. And as previous presenter mentioned, one of the biggest problem is not a problem, but issue is to know what is personal data and what kind of data should be opened and what kind of data shouldn't be opened as a personal data. It is really big issue. So there's some activities on our side how to open this data. So we will definitely use REGIA to open information we have. But one more thing I wanted to mention here is we want to facilitate openness of the data for the municipalities, because they are forced to do the same, but they are not able technically maybe to provide this data in as a services and so on. So we thought that it could be useful to give them possibility to open the data they want as in open formats. So the REGIA could be the platform to do that. And what is most important here, that every municipality can manage themselves which data should be opened and which data shouldn't. And when we created some strategy of data opening, and we identified some 3 steps to do that. I don't know, is it steps? But maybe it's 3 formats of data openness of a platform and our minds openness. So first is possibility to provide all data, some data sets which can be easily opened to the users. So in a different formats, as a services, as a downloadable files, and so on and so on. The second element here is solution platform. It is very important to let our potential users and integrators to know what we have, and it is very important not only to open data we have, and which can be publicly available, but which we need to inform what kind of data we have which can't be opened. We need to show data structure. We need to have to show amount of the data we have, how often it is updated, and some integration specifications and other things. It can help to attract additional users and clients of the system, and these services can be integrated in different platforms. And a third part of this is Center of Competence, and under this name we have in mind possibilities and value of cooperation with scientists, universities, developers, and integrators. So for these users, even raw data can be provided for some scientific works, for bachelor final works, and so on. And actually, we already found it very useful. This cooperation was found very useful. And here's how we see and what we expect from this cooperation. From our side, we provide all these mentioned elements of openness: open data, open specifications, open ideas, competence, technical infrastructure if needed. And from other side, from developers and from scientists, we we expect ideas, some possibilities to develop prototypes, to check the ideas, proof of concept, and so on. So we decided to participate in a different events. We have in Lithuania such format of events, Code for Vilnius, Code for Kaunas, where a bunch of developers gathers together and work for some time to develop something very useful and interesting for the municipality or for Lithuania as a whole. We are participating in hackathons, weekend events where developers tries to solve some problems, to create some new products and so on. Startup community, the events for developers and so on. And of course universities, as I mentioned, to provide them information and information about information, and they can be included in the process of a product development, of a new services development. And here's in the bottom of the slide, you can see what we expect from this cooperation. And yeah, just few illustrations about our participation in these events. They are actually quite active developers. We are interested in everything, and for instance, from this event, we collected a lot of ideas how services should be provided, what kind of data is needed, and so on and so on. And we had very active discussions for 2 days with these developers. So I really liked this. Personally, I really liked this event. And here's one of the examples what was developed during the 48 hours period. It's a new interface, interactive interface to the demographical data we have in Register of Population. Just 48 hours, and we have a result, interactive working application. And we collected from these developers, from these young, full of ideas people, we collected a lot of information and ideas how to improve our service. And here's an example, but these final works of a bachelor final works, or how they are named, we can produce different derived data layers which can be included into the system. We've got even ideas how to create some data enrichment tools. For example, if the user will add some 10 points on a map where he tries to investigate which place is better for his business, he can get some kind of report collected from the different registers, from the different sources of information, and this information can be provided as a report for decision making, as supporting decision making. So that was all I wanted to say. And a final note, I think, and the strongest message maybe I would like to bring with my presentation is what we all need to try to understand business model of open data. We need to try to find the value which we get from opening the data, and the value, how this value transfers to the other users, how its value generates some revenue for the country, for the organization, and so on and so on. And there are quite a lot of revenue forms. We just need to identify them. So let's try to be open and successful with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for a very interesting strategic view on how we can use data in unusual methods. Kādi mums ir jautājumi? Jebkurā valodā, latviešu vai angļu, laipni lūgt uz jautājumiem. Jā, lūdzu. What is the solution for creating their own maps within your REGIA solution?
It is possibility to embed developed map. So you are just getting the piece of the REGIA system and you can embed it into the system. If you are a registered user, you can upload your own data, or you can use our predefined dataset templates, data service templates to publish this information. And to collect, there are tools to collect information in these data layers. And you can create some different maps, which layers, and so on. No, the system is based on S3 technology.
Citi jautājumi? Tad es izmantošu savus. Lūdzu, jā. Can you talk to the licensing aspects of the data that is collected by the state and made available through your solutions?
Yeah, actually, licensing things are still an issue, but when we are talking about opening data, first of all, we are talking about opening our data, and we are leaving possibility to decide which data should be opened by, if the owners of the data are other organizations, they can decide by themselves do they give this information as open or not. But still it is quite unclear thing here, and we have still we have quite a small piece of information which is open, comparing with the possibilities. And if we have agreements, for example, with the universities, we can define the exact place where this data will be used, how the data will be used. So we have quite a free hand to manage usage of the data and licensing of it, but only in these cases when we have an agreement with the user.
Citi jautājumi? Then I have a question for you, Arvydas. In this large amount of different kinds of data, can you comment on your metadata approach? What kind of environment are you utilizing for your data management to define the content, the structure, and to make the metadata available to your users?
Actually, it's a part of our strategy, and it's the second step where we're not only providing the data, but metadata will be provided in this second step. So we are still working on it.
I think metadata is a challenge that all of us will have to move towards very aggressively as we move through open data and the opportunities that gives us. Vai vēl kādi jautājumi būtu? So a great big thank you for that strategic view of what's happening in our southern neighbor Lithuania's borders. Thank you very much.